What up, everybody? It's your girl JoJo of JoJo's Replay, and I am here to tell you about OAT, Official America's Team. It is a platform built for fans, by fans, and it's all about Cowboys Nation, baby. We got so many big-time personalities like yours truly, Tyson Westcoast from Dallas Cowboys Scouting, Silver and Blue Nation headed by Big Game James, and the president and CEO himself, Barry Gibson, the guy that's bringing us all together and making all of this happen. Go subscribe. Go be a supporter. You know it's all about Cowboys Nation and about this chase for number 6, baby. And OAT is the hub to connect us all. So I'm telling you right now, go join. Go subscribe, because here at OAT, baby, we making big moves, because OAT is our business, and our business is our swag.
Top of the afternoon, top of the hump day afternoon, y'all. It's your boy B Jizzle live in the lab here, waiting on my partner in crime to come tap in here with us shortly. We got some potential breaking news about the NFL expanding to 18 games. What? 2 preseason games? What? Each team a mandatory overseas game? What? Yeah, it's getting a little wild around here, but like you said, it's screeching in at the buzzer right on time. How we doing today down there, Bob?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. How you doing out there, BG?
Man, I was just trying to, I was sitting here talking to myself in the head as I was talking to everybody else. Like, I wonder how long Bob's going to take before he gets here and how long I'm going to have to keep parlaying this. And, I already had some news up. So if you're just tapping in and you did not know, Bob, did you hear that Jake Ferguson has now been added to the Pro Bowl roster, which means 6 Cowboys added to the Pro Bowl?
It makes sense. I mean, I'm going to guess not one on defense, right?
No, none on defense. You're exactly right.
So that does not surprise me at all. A little bit, actually, because, I think we can agree as Cowboys fans, Ferguson didn't exactly do what we thought he was going to do this year, but he showed up in some instances, that's for sure. But he also got overshadowed by the wide receivers. So tight ends kind of get that happening.
Yeah, it's a tough gig when you're behind CD and GP, right? He says tight end Jake Ferguson, who had career highs in receptions and touchdowns in 2025, has been added to the NFC Pro Bowl roster as an alternate. So maybe not so much. I mean, that's pretty productive season, especially behind CD and GP, as we were just saying.
I was like, now that I hear that, I'm kind of like, shit, man. What was I watching?
No wonder he made it, right? No wonder a defender didn't make it. Not like we had somebody stop another team for 6+ points per game, which is a whole nother conversation. But welcome, everybody. We're streaming live on 3 platforms. We're live on Facebook, we're live on LinkedIn, and we're live on YouTube. Yes, right. We got some news to share with you. I was looking at some news today, Bob. I was like, what's cracking with the Cowboys? Like, what can we talk about today in the gym, right? And so I came across this article by Yahoo talking about Robert Kraft was saying we're going to extend to 18 games, 2 preseason, and every team is going to have 1 overseas game. And I was like, I got to hit you up. We got to talk about that. But let's hear what Robert Kraft, Mr. Massage Parlor guy himself, had to say about the ordeal. Listen up.
I want to tell you guys, though, we're going to push like the Dickens now to make international more important with us. Every team will go to 18-2, and eliminate one of the preseason games, and every team every year will play 1 game overseas. And part of the reason is so we can continue to grow the cap and keep our labor happy, because we're sort of getting near the top here, with the coverage. 93 of the top 100 programs on television are NFL games. Right. Think about that. It's really amazing. And you look at the size of our crowds versus the other sports, and it's really, and we had that Amazon game on Thursday a couple of weeks ago. 31 million people streamed. And so as long as we can keep growing revenue, we can keep long-term labor peace.
I got 3 words out of that, Bob. growing the cap. I know hashtag keep growing. I know you probably like that, but growing the cap and revenue. That's about all I heard Robert Kraft just say on that minute-long take right there. Now, this is potential. This is not taking place yet. This was reported by Yahoo. This was on a podcast out there on the East Coast. I know Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, who are still in the playoffs, by the way, playing this weekend. But his push, if Robert Kraft is saying something, it's likely going to happen because we've got some more receipts there. So, Bob, tell me your reaction based off what you heard initially right there from Robert.
I know. I always find it hilarious as someone who's struggled most of their life to hear an old man who's rich as shit talk about how he doesn't feel like he's got enough money coming in. So that part of it, listen, if we're talking about growing the brand to make more money, of course they've been dipping their feet in the waters of sending Jacksonville and all these other kind of teams over across the pond and all over the place outside of America. I, for one, don't like it. I don't like the fact that a team has to be, in different cities in America and then like fly to Ireland one week and then come back and pretend like it's going to be okay for them to play a game in 6 days or 4 days or however long they do it. It just doesn't work that way. And it feels like we're just spreading these players super thin in the name of revenue, in the name of making sure that the salary cap gets bigger because we've got more money to come in and all that good stuff, which just tells me that the cap could be bigger right now if they just decided they wanted it to be.
I mean, Kraft is talking about the cap. We got Jerry Jones talking about busting the cap. And DeLon is checking in. He says he needs to go be worried about his speech and go into an old folks home and stay out of young man's business. Well, DeLon, believe it or not, the old man himself has got just about as much pull as Jerry. As you see what Yahoo's reported here, Jerry had, and Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has spoken publicly about being supportive of putting an 18th game on negotiating table line. Neither has effectively said this is what is going to happen and this is how it ties together, and the money we get from it will keep labor peace. So this is all, between Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones. If these two guys are saying it, it's not just go back to little man's business. I mean, these are two big guys that have been pushing the league together, and it's a matter of not if, but now when at this point, if Robert Kraft is out there publicly talking about it, Bob.
Yeah.
What do you think some of the challenges is? What do you think some of the challenges, because I know when I initially shared it with you, you was like, man, I know everybody shouldn't have to play. What's your thought about that? Everybody having to go overseas. You literally got to have a passport to keep up with the Joneses now.
Yeah, it just seems to me, I don't know, man. I myself personally don't like being forced into doing things. And I understand if my company that I work for implements a policy, I have the choice to go with it or not go with it or get paid or not get paid, basically. But really, it's not I don't know who's going to vote on this, but I bet you a lot of the players are not happy with having to fly overseas to do something. And again, maybe they're cool with it because of the money and all this other stuff. But I just think preparation wise, also, I think don't you kill one of the teams kills one of their home games by doing that?
No, they go to 18-game season. They clip another preseason game. We go to 2 preseason games and a mandatory overseason game, which, by the way, the Dallas Cowboys is responsible for Mexico, where we're scheduled to go this season. I've been thinking it's going to be a preseason game, but now with this coming out, I don't know. My guy Sam is checking in. The admin says Jerry ain't going to like that overseas game because you had to give up a home game when you play overseas. Great point.
I mean, that's it. That's what I'm saying. You're giving that up, and it's not home. We're talking, somewhere in Spain or something like that's not home for you, man. That's not a home team. Although I guarantee you, the crowd is nuts. So if they are giving you home field love, you're going to get that out in another country because outside of America, man, the fans are insanely cool and loud, and they get into it. But I don't know, man. I don't necessarily love it. But hey, if we're just talking about one, I'm sure that's okay. That's just another grab for them to say we can put this on Prime, we can put this on Netflix, we can throw this on some other app that somebody has to pay for, and that's how they're going to have to watch that game. And that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like we're being stretched, and the players are being stretched thin, and I think us as fans are too. There's too many.
I think it's been a process. I think it's been a process in the making, rather, as you see the NFL Global Markets Program. This was launched in 2022. This link is already at the top of the screen here, where the whole NFL said every team, this is who you got. And basically Jerry Jones and them got Mexico because if like I know my guy Bob knows, I mean, Jerry been basically camping out in Mexico working with these television stations and, all of those types. We even had the Hat Plug. Shout out to the Hat Plug here. Big Valentin Robles was actually featured on one of the news networks in Mexico about his hats, believe it or not. But yeah, Jerry's been down in Mexico, and there's been some stadium updates there where they're trying to host FIFA, and that was part of the hang-up where now the Cowboys are scheduled to go to Mexico. I don't know. We're not going to know till May if the Cowboys are going to play a preseason or an actual game. Like Sam is saying, I'm thinking it's preseason because what Sam is saying. But if it goes to Mexico, man, it's going to be big time. You're going to have the passport to go to that game, Bob.
Yeah, and on top of, but here's the thing. It's funny that I'm saying what I was just saying about like sort of not having a home field advantage and stuff like that. But if Dallas plays in Mexico, we got home field there. That's our home field, no doubt. Mexico loves the Dallas Cowboys. The majority of the fans in Mexico of NFL teams are the fans of the Dallas Cowboys, guaranteed. So I think that's actually a benefit for us. But I don't know. Maybe it's a little closer to the States, so I guess maybe it's a little easier for us. I'm cool with it, I guess, if that's not too much stress on the teams and the players. But
yeah, but you look at some of these teams like LA got Japan. I mean, the Cleveland Browns, they got Nigeria.
Yeah, man. Go to Mozambique. Why not?
The Chargers, look on the West Coast, between them all, they got the Pacific Rim. They got Japan and South Korea. The UAE, man, Chargers, Niners, Washington. So yeah, you did bring up a good point. You talked about the Jaguars are normally playing a couple of overseas games per year because their owner Shah Khan is a big time business dude globally. And of course, if I own a team in the US and I'm a global dude, I'm going to try to push my team globally to get my brand out there because why? I mean, look at what Jerry Jones has done. He's built this franchise in, I think, what is it worth now? Over 13 billion, something like that.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. Sam's right. There is a lot of Niner fans there too, but I don't know. I still think it would still feel like a home field advantage for us. So.
Yeah. Well, I know some of the pushback is going to be from some of the the players, especially like the NFLPA. There's already been a lot of talks about these Sunday to Thursday games, the quick turnarounds when you got to play Thursday night football, but then on the back end you got to kind of get a little bit mini bye week. But now pushing this to an 18-game season potentially with still one bye week.
I think honestly
only 2 preseason games. If you think injuries are bad now, Bob, MetLife is just licking his chops right now.
Not only that, think about how and I'm talking just to Cowboys because that's all I can talk about. I didn't watch any other team in the preseason. Who gives a shit? But the Cowboys, we noticed we didn't have some big players playing in preseason. So it took us a few games at the beginning of the season to get going. That's not good. That's not something we can afford. We can't afford to lose like we did opening game against Philly in a division game because we didn't get our quarterback didn't play a game in the preseason, didn't really do anything. It's really bad, I think, wiping out this preseason. I know why they're doing it because they're getting hurt in games that don't matter. But we still need those. We need those, dress rehearsals. We need the rookies to get some more reps in. I mean,
those reps.
It's a big deal, man. And we can't use the regular season as a time to evaluate a player. So I think killing the preseason is something I'm not really cool with. And I think shortening it is just going to be even worse, especially for injuries for players.
Yeah. Park Ranger's tapping in. Shout out to Park Ranger with that green badge. We see you out there, Park Ranger. And he says, you think they get rid of Thursday? Hell no. They got a 10-year, 9-year deal still left with Amazon Prime exclusively. Amazon owns the rights. That's what, like Bob was saying, you got to have all these different apps. I think if I remember the count recently I seen online is like $175 a season with all of the apps just to watch all of the games at a minimum.
Yeah, they're not going to stop. It's once something is implemented, it's not going away. It's not like DoorDash didn't go away once we were able to go outside again and start going to restaurants. It's thriving. It's a huge company that leaks millions of dollars, but they're still thriving. They're not going to get rid of Thursday Night Football. It's another way for them to get revenue. Maybe they'll put bad teams on it when it doesn't matter, but right now there's no reason for them to start pulling the plug on any money.
Yeah. It's all about money. You heard what Robert Kraft said. I knew that's what it was. My reaction is, yeah, it's good for business, but it's also bad for manpower. You know what I mean? Especially for fans like me, some fans that like to travel. Like I got an appointment to get my damn passport done, man, because, I got to be able to get to Mexico. Because if the Cowboys get on the schedule to Mexico this year, I mean, just to keep up with the Joneses, you're going to have their paperwork up to date. That's going to be a great content grab. So shout out to all of our Mexico fans south of the border. We're streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. If you're just tapping in and you heard the news, this is potential. this is what Robert Kraft is saying. This has not been official for all of the brainiacs that's going to jump in the comments. It's not official yet. It's not official. If Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones already signed off on it, it's a matter of time because these guys basically have been pushing the league. But let us know in the comments below if you're joining us today. How do you feel about the league going to 18 games? I know fantasy football folks will be happy. I know FanDuel and DraftKings would be happy. Bob?
There's nobody that's going to be mad about any of this, man. Again, we're talking. It's so crazy how we are forced to embrace these changes that constantly drain us as fans, monetarily, spirit-wise. We've seen for people who, and again, I hate, I know the younger people hate hearing people like me say this shit, but we saw the game evolve or devolve in many ways from a game that we saw as kids to a game that does not resemble that anymore. It's really about that money right now, man. And that's all it's about. And it's about getting money from us. It's about getting views from us, clicks from us, visits to the stadium from us, tours, art sales. All that stuff is to get money from us. And it really, really kind of feels a little shitty, if I'm being honest. I understand the world is at sort of an all-time high again, like it was in the 80s. Spend money, make money. It's all about money. But, man, as a fan, it makes it real tough. It makes it hard to keep on par, man. And I myself, especially knowing the team hasn't done much in 30 years, it's like I don't want to keep spending money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's keeping up with the Joneses. You got to keep up with the Joneses, basically, essentially. You know what I mean? It's the haves and the have-nots. But sliding into some other news, leave us your comments down there below about the 18-game potential season. That means only 2 preseason games, means more injuries, means less preseason game time, means less reps, 1 overseas game per team. So if you're a traveling fan, you might want to go ahead and get that passport appointment updated. But we got the NFL draft coming up here in April, Bob, and the selection order is set. The Cowboys have in the first round the 12th and the 20th pick. Now, I asked the question on the timeline here yesterday, which position do you think the Cowboys should draft first at pick 12?
What should they pick first? Cornerback. 100%. They need to pick a cornerback. I think we need a defensive back, ASAFP, whether it is corner, safety, whatever the hell it is, and then go for a defensive end like everyone wants. I mean, I don't know why we're going to do that, if I'm being honest. I think, honestly, we need to be going defense in a lot of different ways, but I'm not sure the line we need to worry about those early picks on. We've got a good line right now, man. And if we get a good defensive quarter, that shit may be really, really dominant, if I'm being honest.
Dallas Cowboys, right? We'll go offensive line at pick number 12, which I want to just prep everybody because Stephen Jones, Catboy Jr., has already been out in the media preparing us, just like they've been slow rolling us on this whole defensive coordinator hire, which they've actually interviewed 9 coaches and they've had a couple of people coming back. But, the rumor is out now. They're waiting on this guy, Leonard from the Broncos, which, by the way, they'll have a chance to interview him after the game, even if he wins before he goes to the Super Bowl. But I'm like, we got the East-West Shrine Bowl coming up on the 27th. We got the Senior Bowl coming up on the 30th. Like, are we really going to wait until after the Super Bowl to get a DC? But Catboy is saying, hey, don't be surprised if we don't go defense, and we're not in a hurry to sign a DC. We want to make sure it's right.
Hey, as long as it's not a Michigan tight end, go for it. I don't give a damn. I'm done with everybody from Michigan, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I don't know that we go offense first round. I think it's, what we're losing. We lost a second and a third, right? So we're going to be up on 4th, and maybe they do something then. But this year, honestly, guys, we've got to kill those first 2 picks because we don't have picks for a couple rounds. There's going to be a shitload of talent that's going to be sucked up, taken by all these teams, and we're going to miss 2 rounds of picks because we don't have them. So, we got to make up. We got to make up really, really good for those missing picks by getting 2 killers in the first 2 rounds. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if we take that Ohio State linebacker because that dude's a monster. Him and Overshown, I think, would be a killer duo over there. I forgot what his name was because I don't watch anything other than the Canes.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Catboy was out there saying, hey, look, CD Lamb, they said this is out of Steven's mouth. Now I watched this on the YouTube channel for the DallasCowboys.com on YouTube. Steven had said that, initially they wanted to go defense the year we picked CD Lamb in the first round. And so he's prefacing the fan base because I know at pick 12, everybody, including me, I'm saying defense. I say cornerback, defensive end, linebacker, one of the 3. We need anybody on the defensive side of the ball. As you see, we had 6 guys on the offense go to the Pro Bowl. I mean, we need a little more balance maybe next year, right? A little 3-piece on each side or something like that. But it's all going to matter at BPA. That's what I'm getting to. Best player available. That's what happened with the CeeDee Lamb scenario. And I'm just saying, it sounds like the Dallas thing to do to take offensive line, but maybe we've seen this movie before, and I don't know. Maybe Will McClay and them put the clamps on them. Y'all let us know in the comments below. How are you going to feel if the Cowboys were to go with the number 2 ranked offense last year, an offensive player, even an offensive lineman? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we had a pick in each round, it would be easier to go ahead and go that route. As it stands, we don't. So I don't know. I think
we got 8 picks
line,
currently. We got 8 picks currently. I think those extra 2, I'm not sure if those are compensatory picks yet or not. But once we get Kales up on here soon, we'll get an update on that as we got position predictions again kicking off the week after Super Bowl. So we'd love to have you come up on and join us too, Bob, as well, as we're getting some folks scheduled out. We're going to be talking about NFLDraftBuzz.com, like what we're talking about, because who are the top players, especially for this upcoming draft? And if you're just tapping in, this will be one of the tools that we'll be using on position predictions. So if you want to check out all of the prospects we'll be looking at, I'll place this link down in the comments below because, I'm all about defense too.
Yeah, we can't look. There's nothing we really don't really need to mess anything on offense. Let's say we lose Pickens, that's a different story. Or we can't retain him, that's a different story. Or Javonte, that's a different story too. So if we're talking about if we have every single person right now on our team next season, we need to go defense right off the bat. The first 2 need to be defensive. They need to be a linebacker probably and a cornerback. If I'm being real honest, man. And even then, a cornerback is going to take a little longer to get NFL ready than a linebacker will. So we're still going to see a little bit of struggle. We still need to hit the free agency market, I think, and if we have money to do it, and try and do some things in that, because we need to start being like other NFL teams and actually doing stuff to make things better, because we can't roll. If
you take a look here on NFL Draft Buzz, we got the linebackers up. So we're going to be getting real familiar with some of these names, especially after, like I said, January 27th, key dates to know, January 27th, the East-West Shrine Bowl will be taking place at the Star in Frisco, where both Lunda Wells, tight ends coach, and I believe also Aaron Whitecotton, defensive line coach, will be the defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken. So there's some Cowboy coaches going to be involved with that at the Star in Frisco. That's the 27th, and then the 30th we got the Senior Bowl too as well coming up. So some big games that are coming up, and I would think we'd like to have a defensive coordinator, especially in there for scouting folks. Bob, like I don't see us going. It would be asinine if we got a defensive coordinator after the Super Bowl, and we missed these 2 big opportunities, especially with our coaches involved.
But you're right, and I hear what you're saying. But again, I feel like maybe you're thinking about the Cowboys as other NFL teams who have a hierarchy. If it comes down to what Jerry says, he doesn't need anybody to be in place. Do you know what I mean? Like he's going to say, all right, well, here's what's going on there. This is the deal. We got this guy as a defensive coordinator, blah, blah, blah. This is what you're dealing with. You're going to deal with who we drafted, whatever the case may be. And that's another Dallas Cowboy thing to do. So I can see it happening. I don't think it's smart, like you're saying. You want your DC to come in and be like, okay, this is a good guy. I was watching him when I was coaching for this other team. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely something you want. You want to have this guy attached to it, hopefully trying to make decisions or at least influence decisions. Because if not, he's just another puppet. Because aren't we tired of that?
Do you have a favorite that you would like to see the Cowboys go out of one of these 9 coaches that they interviewed? Not named Brian Flores, not named Al Harris. I mean, we're getting the Durante, the Al Harris, or no, I'm saying the Brian Flores knockoff. I guess the other guy, not actual Brian Harris. But any of those coaches are sticking out to you that you think? Who do you think may become the next DC?
I am so disconnected from any other team in the NFL. When I hear stuff, it's just like it just doesn't make a difference to me. So I don't have an idea about that. I do think Harbaugh going to New York could be a bit problematic for us. It just takes a good coach to come in a situation where you got a couple of rookies that are pretty powerful, and if those guys are able to do things, that shows you how heavy a coach can be. But as far as who I see for DC, no. I mean, I would love to steal a defensive coordinator from a team who was in the top 3 defenses this season that just passed. So maybe anybody in Minnesota or
that's where the house favorite is at right now. Paul Leonard, the defensive passing game coordinator for the Denver Broncos is currently still in the playoffs. They play this weekend. But like I said, if they win, I think the game plan, which I'm reading and seeing online, is that, the Joneses, they're going to reach out and try to interview him again, which we've had a couple of coaches come back like Gannon. And I think the other guy, Durante, came back for second interviews because they were impressed. They were talking about Paul Leonard, too. He's been kind of like the crowd favorite. But, I would like to get him in here sooner rather than later. But, again, it doesn't make sense to hurry up, put somebody in a position, especially like if his name was Matt Eberflus. You know what I mean? Like, can we not repeat? Can we learn from that? I don't know, indoor or outdoor. I'm almost thinking they're going to hire defensive line coach Aaron Whitecotton to promote him to DC. Why? Because like drafting an offensive lineman, Bob, it just seems like the right thing to do. They promoted Shoddy. Why not promote Aaron Whitecotton? Let us know in the comments below who you think the next DC will be.
I mean, that's something that we I guess we expect some big splashes and big names to come around, and Dallas doesn't do that. We did it with Quinnen and Quinnen Williams and Pickens. Player-wise, we'll do that, but coaches, it doesn't seem like we do stuff like that. It feels like, from what I look at, Jerry gets the guy he can mold and do whatever the hell he wants to do. Take care of the team on the field, but still mold and influence him. So really at this point, we need somebody who can get us like at 500 or better on defense. Because we showed last year when our defense played good, we were a very, very good team, a playoff caliber team when our defense played good, because our offense was astounding. Yeah. So I don't know. DC coming through. Who can it be? I don't know, man. I mean, I'd love to have Al Harris back, but he's got a cushy gig, man. He's not leaving.
Yeah, he's still in the playoffs too as well. No, Chicago's out. No, I'm sorry, take that back. Yeah, they got beaten that crazy game. But in other news, shout out to our official sponsor, King Sharon, Red Oak Construction. If you see this on the timeline, if you're out in East Texas, make sure you check out our official sponsor for Gym Rat of the Year, Brandon Red Oak, bedtime supporter, 6 years plus here on Built Different Group. He's a traveling Cowboy fan. So if you're a Cowboy fan and you're looking for some work on a deck, or you need a house build or something like that, I mean, he can pretty much do it all. So shout out to our official sponsor, Red Oak Builders, King Sharon in the building.
It was good to be red.
Yeah, weather looks nice. I know he's been on. I remember him building this out there. I know he's been stuck in Oklahoma for quite some time. But if you're just tapping in, let us know who you think the next DC is going to be. It makes sense to me. It's just Aaron Whitecotton. Like, we've seen this movie before. I mean, we've already heard the staff come out and say the players respect him. Shoddy said that. They say he's a great educator, a great trainer, a teacher. That's one of the qualified criteria they're looking for in the next DC. They said it didn't have to be a prior head coach, which, like we seen, you said Harbaugh went to New York. That kind of makes him a little legitimate. You see Mike McDaniels from Miami get fired. Now he's under the other Harbaugh in the Chargers. So there's going to be some changes. But if you didn't notice, I think I noticed earlier today, out of the 4 teams that are in the playoffs still left going in this weekend, Bob, they've all got defenses, or they got stout defensive coordinators. And that's the reason why they're there. And so if we miss on this by going outside, because I think this is where we got to go outside the star, is to find some new talent to come in there and mix it up. I'm just not certain that Whitecotton is going to get the job done. I know they may promote him, but I'm not going to agree and say he might be the best. I think we need some new guys to come in and give us some new schemes. But
yeah, we need a splash. We need a name. We need somebody that's going to get the fans electric a little bit. We need a fan that's going to get a name that's going to get team players saying, "Oh, damn, they're serious. They got homeboy, whatever the case may be." I don't know that this little placating decisions we've been doing, hiring from within, I don't see that working. It rarely works with what we do with our players. We wind up keeping these players around that have had injuries because they're cheaper, and it never works for us, man. It hasn't. So I think, like you're saying, let's just try something different and maybe go outside of the house, man.
Yeah. So if you missed that, here's Shoddy on, this was earlier in the season, as they were talking about, he was 3 for 3 on moving folks to the team. Like that guy, Quinnen Williams. Let's listen into what he had to say.
You guys got Solomon Thomas in free agency. You'll run Perry and Winfrey, now Quinnen Williams. What kind of input has Aaron Whitecotton been able to provide as far as guys that he's coached in the past, and how did he provide input in this instance?
Well, he's a great seller. He's he definitely, if you ask him about a player that he's coached, you better get comfortable, because he's going to spend a lot of time selling. But he's very passionate about it, and again, he's 3 for 3. So he's just got a great feel for it. He understands the attack front, and I think he understands people as well.
Yeah, I mean that's the double-edged sword there, because you do bring somebody from outside. You got, new language, new respect. They got to get to know the players. That that camaraderie, all of that is there with this culture that they're trying to build. But I mean, outside of that, Bob, I don't think it matters who the defensive coordinator is, because I want to get your thoughts. Did you know that the Cowboys are actually the leader in penalties in the 2025 regular season with 133 penalties under Schottenheimer's first year as a head coach?
Yeah, I think we're so used to coaches that are not great and not doing great things, and to have Shoddy have a successful offense and be part of the person that's calling those plays. I think we gave him a lot of credit, and we didn't really look hard into the things that he didn't do right. And we're going to do that this offseason. We're doing that right now. I think he did fall short in that category. I think he fell short in a couple areas too. But again, we have to go back to the ad nauseum phrase I used in almost every single pregame show we did, which was, this is a rebuilding year. No one wanted to talk about it. No one wanted to freaking admit it. We flipped every single coach on our team, basically, and have a brand new front office for players to look at. We should not have expected to do well, really, but we did a lot better offensively, I think, than most people thought. So I don't know. I think Shoddy did a great job, man. He did some things wrong too, but I think he's going to be the guy to correct that. I think he's a real good culture guy, dude. I think he speaks.
I think he gets it corrected next year. I just knew I was tracking it at 8 flags a game this year. I'm like, man, he's going to bust the cap. As we heard Jerry Jones and them talk about busting the cap. Well, Shoddy busted the cap on the flags, but we're definitely going to have to get that turned around coming into this season, because we can't lead the league unless you're like the Legion of Boom, which I think was the last team to do it, led the regular season in penalties and then won the Super Bowl, actually. Denver was actually at the top of those, was the number one sack team this year. But if you take a look at Seattle, they were the number one defense across the board, I think. And I think there's one other team that's in there, the Patriots, or who's the other one? All those defensive coordinators, the reason why those 4 teams are in the postseason this deep is because of defense. Now, Bob, we had the number 2 offense last year. As we see Kales tapping in with the intels down there. We see you, girl. How you been? See you doing your sorority thing out there. But, this is a little different. Like you said, rebuilding year going into this year, we got money in the bank. We got picks. We made some trades this offseason during this rebuild that you're talking about. I mean, we always say this every year, and I know everybody says we always say this year, but you got to feel different about this next season, man. Like, honestly, for me, with money and picks, and we've already made some moves. Like, we got GP, we got Quentin and all those guys. If we just can get the damn defense to middle of the pack,
that's all it took. And like I said, there were a few games where we were better, middle of the pack and better, and we won those games very well. We played very well. I don't know. I'd love to believe that we could do that, man. It just doesn't seem like, we're going to make any really big splashes with this.
Well, it's going to be up to the DC. But in other news, especially at the White House, did you get a chance to check out Playmakers podcast that launched on Netflix here on Monday, Bob?
I did not, but I'm going to, of course.
Yeah, if you didn't, you know what I mean? If you like that 88 behavior, if you got Netflix, where they stream NFL games. If you did not know, Playmaker just launched his podcast called The White House. Go figure. I think it's pretty cool. He named it The White House, especially after this, with the Netflix thing came out. It's kind of like people knew, but now like everybody on the internet knows. But it's him and Brandon Marshall, formerly of the Denver Broncos. You've seen there on all of the networks. Him and they're on their podcast. They were talking, obviously, the Miami Hurricanes, which, man, did you happen to check out that game, Bob?
Which game?
The Hurricanes game?
What? Yes, of course I did.
Man, that's crazy. I don't watch it until the final game of the season, and I was like, damn, I know Michael going to be mad as hell on this next podcast because he can't put no belt to ass this game.
And I felt, honestly, I didn't feel like the Canes were even really close. They had some things go their way. The Hoosiers are ridiculously talented, man. That's a good solid team, man. And for Miami to kind of come up short the way they did, it was a big letdown. But again, they're probably looking to the future like, hey, we're all right unless we lose everybody to the portal. But real quick to add to what you were saying earlier, it looks like right now we are in cap hell because we are negative $39 million.
Nah, I think that's after they do the adjustments. I think Kels had already addressed that. Kels, if you're watching,
really?
if you could leave us a comment down there below. I think we're on the plus side. I think I've seen that going around too. We're like 39 million in cap hell or something. That's because of the allocated money that's supposed to go out. But according to Kels, I thought we had plenty of money in the bank. I've heard 70 and also 140 million plus. That's why they've been saying bust the budget. That's why Jerry and them has replaced all in with busting the budget.
Well, this is only based on, again, right now. So, again, like you're talking about, once something happens, like the new season starts, then probably all that money goes away and then the new cycle of money comes in. It's just as of right now. But you're right. I would imagine we probably have, because 39 is quite a bit of money, but we also moved a lot of players out, moved some contracts out. And over the cap is normally really accurate, but they're accurate to the day. They're not looking forward.
Well, let me go to over the cap here and we'll just take a look at it, right, Bob? We can show you better than we can tell you. Let's go to the scores.
I was going to say, there it is, man.
Take a look at it.
But like you said, once the season starts and then the money clears, it may actually work out in our benefit.
See, I don't mess around over here too much, so I don't see a total cap liability.
Yeah, it's right there.
Cap the space here. There you go. Yeah, negative 39 million. There you go. But I think Kels did give us some clarification on that because that was being reported, but also I think she did clarify that for us. If not, we will be clearing this stuff up, especially on position predictions. We'll be kicking off on February 15th, 11 episodes. Make sure you tap in. Make sure you check out the NFL Draft Buzz. That's in the link. That'll be one of the tools that we use, and also the NFL Draft Simulator. We'll be doing some simulations for drafts, trying to see what defensive players are available there. But other than that, Bob, I know you hit me up, man. You said there's a concert. Look like I might be coming back out there to Red Rocks in October.
Yeah, man. I don't think you can beat that. Cypress Hill headlining with Method Man and Redman, De La Soul. Like it's just one of those lineups where you kind of, I mean, rest in peace, Dave. So we're missing a part of De La Soul, but it'll be really cool to see. And it's Red Rocks too. So
are we gonna be able to smoke out there? Are we gonna be able to smoke out there like 420 or not?
What? With Cypress Hill, you better bring an ounce.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring an ounce. I'm just gonna bring a bunch. We gotta throw handfuls of joints at that one point in the concert.
So.
I mean, that's the way we do it for Cypress Hill, man.
Yeah, and I know you're the Red Rocks king out there. So if you don't know about Red Rocks, I guess it's one of the 8 wonders of the world or something like that. One of the best places to watch a concert. I joined Bob there a few years back at the pre 420 gig with Too Short and E40 and all those guys. Cypress Hill was out there. It was crazy, man. So I know you're looking forward to that to capture some more content, especially for your YouTube. I mean, what's going on out there in the cannabis space? Any other news out there? Anything going on with the cannabis cowboy in Colorado?
Man, I'll tell you what, I had some bad news happen, man. I mean, I had some spider mites 2 grows ago that decimated my blueberry muffin plants. I had to kill all of them. I wiped the whole tent down. I quarantined everything, put a whole new grow, and I did Romulan. Came out great, beautiful. And then I went back and used this a particular hay again, and I just got them. I had to kill 2 of my plants, so I'm a little PO'd right now. I'm a little banged up mentally when it comes to it. I spend a good amount of money keeping those plants going, and it's a tough gig. But other than that, no, I'm still just doing what I can with good chemistry, man. Good chemistry is coming out with killer strains all the time, so they're always throwing those at me. They just put out a strain with the guy from Farside who was just here this weekend. So I mean, they got things popping, man. It's always great to be connected to good chem in some way, man, because they hook me up with the greatest. Yeah,
shout out to good chem. I can't wait to get back out there. I know you took me there the last time I was there, but Kels is firing back to let us know, Bob, the negative 39 mil everyone is seeing are the remaining expiring contracts. We are rolling over close to cap 24 mil into 2026. Yeah, so thank you for that clarification there, Kels. Yeah, I knew we was on the plus side. Like I was saying, we got picks, we got money, we made moves. I mean, obviously, what we're hearing now is GP might likely get tagged. That's not been confirmed yet, but you've seen, folks like Todd Archer's already came out saying that first thing the Cowboys need to do is take care of GP. So let's talk about the contracts and the money. You think GP should get a contract first or Javonte Williams?
Javonte Williams.
Y'all let us know in the comments below, GP or Javonte. Why you think Javonte, Bob?
So here's the deal, man. I look at specific positions as something you can't be bad at. You can't have a bad quarterback. You damn sure can't have a bad running back. And you can't have bad tight ends because those are all attached to the running game. And we haven't really had a dominant, strong one in a while. We just had Javonte had his first 1,000-yard game after being on a pretty decent Denver Broncos team when they drafted him. So it just shows that he can do some things. He impressed me on a lot of runs. He can keep the sticks moving. That's what you need. When you got Pickens, who's not going to get the ball every down, I mean, I think Javonte probably had more rushes. He had more rushes than Pickens had catches, right? I mean, we're talking about a usage thing. We have to have a run that's going to be established. I just think Pickens is the second guy that needs to be addressed.
Well, I know Pickens is his volume came at the expense of a CD injury, and then they began targeting him some more as a result. But not to take away from GP, they're both equally important. I think, yes, we do have to pay Javonte Williams first. Yeah, that 1,000 yards back there, y'all know, y'all been saying that Dak ain't no good unless he got a running game since Ezekiel Elliott, which, by the way, I think there was some controversy. I guess that kid, Mark Fletcher, they were saying he had the most yards rushed for in the CFP games or something like that versus Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know if you caught that, but anyway, yeah, Javonte Williams needs that contract, but I think maybe GP likely going to be on that franchise tag. Y'all let us know in the comments below. GP first, J-Dub, or should we tag either or before we get out of here today talking about the money in the bank? And money in the bank picks, man, you know, we go into this draft, we get 2, like you say, cleats on the ground. 2 picks, 12 and 20. We got a 12 and 20. Them guys got to come with cleats ready to play impact. And if it's on the defensive side of the ball, which, by the way, did you see that the Green Bay Packers released Trayvon Diggs?
Listen, let me tell you, man, I love the kid, man. He did some great shit and I love his son, dude. His son was like a magnetic character. He was just such a cool little kid. So I hated to see this crumbling of Trayvon. And it just happened in such a shitty way. And then he started talking about how he sort of jumped onto Micah's camp. And I think it made everybody like, you know what, man, it's to hell with this dude. So to see it happen, what it makes me think is he went to a professional NFL team who had great evaluators, who had great coaches, who said after one game, we don't want this guy anymore. It took us fucking years for us to say that about him, but it took another team one game to do that. So it just goes to show, man, if you have good evaluators, you'll cut ties when you need to, and you'll sign people when you need to. And I'm hoping we do at least make a couple moves for some defensive talent this year.
Yeah, Kels is tapping back in, talking about the dime, saying this is the first time in years that we've had draft capital. Each team has to enter the draft right. We got to have that $15 million because we got to pay these rooks. You got to have that money in the bank. Remember, we got to pay $15 million in this salary cap to these rooks that we draft with these 8 picks if we don't get any more with the compensation picks. But thanks, Kels, for tapping in with that intels right there. So if you're just tapping in late and you did not know, Robert Kraft is out in the media campaigning for the league to go to an 18-game season, which means 19 19-week season with 18 games and a bye. Only one bye. That means 2 preseason games. All teams to get 1 overseas game, which if you didn't know, the Cowboys are responsible for Mexico. We placed that link in the comments down there. You can check out the NFL International Global Market. So if you're a fan of the other 31 teams that follow us here, you can check that out and see where your team is responsible. So if you got a passport, you can go and check them out. But I was glad that you got to tap in with me here today, Bob. I didn't want to do all this by myself. You know what I mean?
No doubt, man. I was like, I kind of disconnected a little bit now, man, on the offseason. I'm going to get in a little bit when we draft. And then I'm going to pull out a little bit, live my life, and then go back when we start getting a little bit of activity and training camp. I can't afford mental health.
No, you got to disengage. You got to have them boundaries, bro. I commend you on that. You've done really good with creating boundaries with this team and still being a Dallas Cowboy for life. As Sterling says, I didn't know this, but Parson ended his podcast. What? Did that deal with Bleacher Report run out?
As of October 2025, Green Bay Packers linebacker Parson is no longer hosting his controversial podcast, The Edge, to focus on football because of the controversy in Dallas and I think maybe episode issues or whatever. But yeah, I guarantee you, Green Bay is like, look, dude, you're gonna play with us.
Not on our watch. Yeah, not on our watch. We're not going to do all that Bleacher Report, all that other shit, all that. You can be a content creator after the Green Bay Packers, but hey, that's great.
Part of the Packer podcast.
Yeah, that's great. That's great news, especially for Cowboy fans, because I was interested. I was like going to creep over there. I was still going to go listen to Parsons and see what he had to say, especially after the news of Trayvon Diggs getting released. I'm like, man, wouldn't that be the Cowboys thing to do? We go back and sign Trayvon Diggs on the cheap deal.
Speaking of something the Cowboys would do, look at Senor Calderon over here. I think he's trying to rage bait me, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah, if we don't go defense or if we trade back, I guess those are the two things that's going to trigger our fan base, right?
Woo-wee. You know what? They're just like, we're going to take the 12th. They're going to go offensive lineman with the 12th pick, and they're going to trade the 20th, and we're not going to have another first-round pick.
Oh, my God.
We're going to fucking get a 2 2s and a 3rd.
Oh my God!
We're like, I told you, we're just gonna get some good draft capital. Like that's the way it's gonna happen. That could be worst case.
Thank God we got Will McClay. Shout out to the Draft Whisperer. Hopefully he can make sure that they keep it balanced. I know him and Shotty, they did real well in the draft last year. We hit, which by the way, Tyler Booker getting all kind of accolades out there. Tyler Booker was cleats in the dirt, like we said, that first round pick last season. He came in and did wonders for us. So can they Will McClay, the Draft Whisperer, hit again? That 12th and 20th pick we're gonna need. So make sure you turn on your notifications, especially if you're on YouTube. Or if you're on LinkedIn and on Facebook, we'll be streaming live in between the Super Bowl and the NFL draft, which is in Pittsburgh this season. There will be about 11 episodes, and we're going to cover BPA. That's the title of this podcast in our second season. So shout out to my co-host, Kales. As you see in the comments, we're going to be breaking down all of the prospects, doing some draft simulators, getting some news and things like that. So if you're looking to get engaged with some of that content and stay up to date with your team, make sure you double back and follow and tune in with us this season. So anybody that's supporting the content here on Facebook, shout out to all of our green badges like my guy Bob, who's holding it down for Position Predictions 2.0. So if you hit that subscribe button today, just know you're supporting our upcoming podcast on Built Different Group. That's an exclusive here, our second season. And so maybe we'll have you up on the first one, Bob. It'll be Kels and I, and we'll have you come in as an honorary Big 3 guest to kick it off. What do you say on February 15th?
Yeah. I was gonna say, wait, that sounds
Sunday,
like Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think we can do it.
Yeah. Sunday your time. I'll be out of town. My son Bryce has got another weightlifting competition in Spokane on Valentine's Day, so I'll be out there, but I'll still be able to hook up and we'll be able to kick off our first episode. So be happy to have you. So thanks everybody for tuning in. All of the links are in the comments. Thank you if you gave us a like, a share, or a comment here today, especially if you donated stars. We've seen some folks donate stars, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, because also you get a chance to win some cool shit. Any parting words before we get out here today, Bob?
Hey man, I'm feeling good rolling. Like I said, even though this was a rebuilding season, I feel good rolling into this next season right now, knowing that we don't have this defensive coordinator. I'm happy it happened really quickly, and I think honestly, I really think anybody can be better than that guy. And again, we said so many times this year, if we were just 500 or if we were just middle of the road, we'd be a better team. If we are middle of the road or better next year, we're going to be a force to reckon with. I think we take Philly. I think we do. I think we take the division.
Yeah, they got all kind of internal problems over there. AJ Brown wants out. They got bigger fish to fry in Philly. You know what I mean? But Kels tapping in with the last little bit of intel, said Goodell proposed this 19-week season 2 years ago. Facts. It's supposed to go on the floor during the annual spring league meeting. So maybe that's why, we see Robert Kraft out here in the media getting ahead of it, preparing everybody, including the players in the NFLPA, which there'll be more fallout from this. So make sure and turn on your notifications. We appreciate y'all tapping in with us here today on Hump Day. We'll see you in the gym on the next episode.
Turn out the lights. The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over, and tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.